Everyone, this is Joe. I'm from Craft Master Journey, and this is my dice shooting program. This is going to be our last taping of the yellow belt level, and we're going to start off with our stretches again. So we're going to do the milking a cow, just making a fist and squeezing out, extending, getting the blood going into our hands and our fingers, and working on dexterity. We're going to go through one final thing today when we get towards the end of our program. Wrist twist out here, guys. Grab the back of your hand, twist it out. And we're going to do, like I said, one additional thing today for the yellow belt to finish off the program. Hopefully it'll make a big difference in our throw. Wrist twist the other way. So we're going to stretch our hand out. So hopefully everybody will like what the addition is and that it will help improve your toss. Fingers pulled back, stretching out 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to go with gooseneck. Just drop our hand straight down, push gently up against the wrist, and working it back. Again, we're just working the flexibility of the wrist, get some mobility, get the blood flowing, get ready to start shooting the dice. Again, these stretches can be done at the table. Most of them are very unobtrusive. Again, our bicep and shoulder stretch. Put the edge of our thumb on the edge of the table and stretching down and back. So you can do these at the table. You can do these in the car, in the parking garage, in the hotel. Wherever you want to do. Again, like I said, these are very unintrusive. So next what we're going to do is just a mini squat. Just squat down at the table. Just get a little bit of blood flow into the legs. And the last one we're going to do is stretching forward and stretching out the hamstrings. Keeping the back and neck straight and just stretching down. Okay, let's move on to George's corner. So continuing on with the document that George had sent me, he talks about dice behavior. And dice behavior is the ultimate goal of all constants that we mentioned converging together to give you predictable dice behavior. This is the ultimate objective of any experienced shooter. So let's talk about the variables. So far in the program, we've talked about the constants. What are the things that we can do to make our throw constant? Things that we can not have to worry about at the casino. But the variables that he talks about, and these are the things that we cannot change, is the impact with the gator walls and their effect on the result. So those bumps at the end of the table, they're called gator walls or alligator bumps or whatever you want to call it, and how they affect the dice once the dice bounce off of it. We can also talk about variables including the noise that's going on around you in the casino, about the player behavior. So what are things that are going on with the players around you, the crew's behaviors, bets on the table. So in other words, the landing zones, the landmines, or whatever you want to call it, the good or bad vibes or cheers from people around you, as well as the cocktail waitresses and their arrival times. You know, when do they come up to you? And it always seems like you're in the middle of a long row when they actually come up to you. And the last thing you need, that it's a variable, is your level of fitness or your fatigue. Remember that not every single day is the same. You might have had a late night last night. You might have been walking up or down steps, and that might affect how tired you are. There's a variety of different things that will impact your level of fatigue, your level of fitness the day of the actual throwing situation at the craps table. So, okay, so here we are, guys. We're going to go through, we're going to review our white belt really quick. Again, this is our last yellow belt session. And we'll talk about our homework going forward in a little bit here, guys, or towards the end of our session today. But we're going to go through our dice grips again, work on your grip pick which one is comfortable for you, which one is preferable, and you're going to go through it at least 10 times. So we're just going to go through and practice our dice sets, and we're going to get through them at least 10 times. And I'm guessing that I have the wrong setting on my video right now, so because I don't have anybody in the chat right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the session, we're going to finish it out, and I will change the setting after I am done filming this video, and then hopefully everybody will be able to see what we did in today's session. And the reason I think that is because I did a video yesterday and I changed the settings in the YouTube system from public to private. So I'm sure that's what's happening right now. But anyhow, so we go through our 10 dice strips, and then we're going to go through our drop tests. Well, let me go see if I can change that setting right now as we're sitting here. Give me 1 second here, guys. I don't know if I can do that or not. But it's showing as that. Good morning, Mike. So it is all set up and good to go. That's awesome to see. Okay, so let's continue on, guys, here. So the one thing we're going to change here, guys, is our drop test. So in the past, what we're doing is we're getting into our grip, and I was just doing a drop test here. So you're releasing with the thumb, not the fingers. And we were going through at least 5 to 10 times per session with our drop test and working on that. Now what we're going to do, and it's like I said, the last section of the yellow belt level here, is we're going to go through and we're going to do the same drop test, except we're going to do it in a different way. So what we're going to do is we're going to get set up in our regular throwing position, and we're going to bring the dice up to make sure that they're square in a top position. But this is where we're going to do the drop test now. So you can practice releasing with your thumb and not your hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up, get into our grip, get ready to throw the dice, bring it up to where you release it, and drop with your thumb. And that will hopefully create that muscle memory that you're looking for when you're throwing the dice. And that's going to come into play today when we do our actual tosses. You're going to feel a huge difference. So later on, and I'll explain more when we get into that, what we're going to do, but concentrate right now on just getting into your throwing position, coming up, make sure that the dice are square at your top position, muscle memory where your hand is, where your arm is, and then release with that thumb. And I was doing some practicing this morning before I actually started the live stream, and I noticed a huge difference in my dice behavior, in the release of the dice, just by doing this one little addition or change to the practice session. So bringing it up and just releasing with that thumb. So again, guys, it's morning training, morning dice training. And I don't care how advanced you are, there's always little things that you can learn when you're going through this. And everybody has a little bit of different flair, a little bit of a different style, a little bit of something they can add to the whole process. And this is hopefully one of those things that will actually make a difference in your throwing. So, you know, like I said, try that release. Try to practice on releasing with the thumb. So we went through our drop test. We have our dice set in again. We have 9 sets of dice here. We're going to go through really quick and set them. Again, last level of last section of the yellow belt level here. We're going to go through the 12, 23 dice sets. It's a 1, 2 on this dice, 2, 3 on that dice. And we're just gonna go through, we're gonna set up as fast as we can. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna set these, and it doesn't matter, here's the 2, 3. It doesn't matter the order that you do it in, as long as they end up with the 12, 23. So this weekend, I'm going to be traveling down, actually tomorrow, down to Chicago. I have to drop my son off. He has an event going on down there. So I'm going to be making that trip down tomorrow night and coming back immediately. Arnell from Dice Grinders is down in the Chicago area, and I will not be able to get a hold of him and meet up with him simply because of my time commitments and that. So I got a little bit of a trip going on. We have the all sevens dice set with the 5, 4, 2, 3 dice set. It's sevens all the way around, 5, 2, 4, 3, 2, 5, and 3, 4. So we get the 5, 4, 2, 3. Just concentrate on that while you're doing this, guys. And it looks like they're trying to get a meetup down in the Chicago area sometime in the middle to late part of August of this coming year coming up. So it's I'm not even paying attention when I'm doing here. 5, 4, 2, 3. It's going to be in 2023 towards the middle to end of August. It looks like it's going to be Arnell from Dice Grinders. It looks like it's going to be Yo Girl. It looks like it's going to be a bunch of people from the Craft Nation group. And guys, if you're not part of Craft Nation yet, make sure that you go on to Skype. That's their main place of where they communicate the most on Skype. And you look up Craft Nation, and it's just a group of like-minded people that have been doing this for a long time. Very accepting, very helpful, very great group of people. Anyhow, we're going to meet up hopefully in August sometime down in the Chicago, Indiana area. So, while we practice our dice sets, we're going to go through just do a couple barrel tosses. Again, the barrel toss is just a set of dice that are taped together. In my yellow belt video, I'll show you guys how I do that, how I tape them together. And we have Victor here today. Morning, Victor. Okay, so we're just going to do about 3, 4, 5 tosses again. Again, a lot of the stuff is repeat, guys. A lot of it is repeat. A lot of it's boring, but repeating is the way that you can increase the consistency of your throw. A little dad joke as a side note. Every time I throw these barrel dice, they show up in a hard way. Dad joke. Get it, guys? Pretty sad. Pretty sad. Hold the applause. So we're just concentrating on throwing those barrel dice down the table. We are trying to concentrate and get them down there without a wobble. And this is where, guys, you could start practicing our drop tests that we just got done doing. So remember, we're coming up here, we practice dropping with the thumb or releasing with the thumb. This is where we can start practicing that. And you're going to notice a huge difference in your release and a huge difference in the toss down at the end of the table. And that was a terrible toss. Guys, try and do that one. See that right there? It's stacked. The dice landed just like I got in the cable. That does not mean that I threw a good dice down there. It is the end of the week, who knows? But anyhow, we're going to throw the dice, we're going to toss it down there, and get into position. Now, I keep on saying this is the last yellow belt one. I made a mistake. We do actually have one more yellow belt video. We'll be doing that tomorrow. And then we'll be taking a couple days off before I do another live recording. And during the days off, make sure that you guys get through and you actually do your practice. Even though we're not doing our morning training together, you can still do your training on your own at home. Tennessee Barrels, yes, Mike. The reason, if you go back at some of the live streams that we have going on that I put out, we're doing the barrels simply because we're trying to get to make sure that our toss is going down and it's not wobbling. It's not, going off axis, it's not going off center. This is one of the ways that we're going to train it. Also, we're going to train it so that way we can get that backspin going on as it goes through the air. So when it lands, hopefully it lands square and it'll throw into the wall and minimize that energy that occurs when the dice actually hit the table at the other end. So that's our whole goal. Is if you saw how that one flew through the air, there was no wobble. It was a nice uniform backward spin. It landed somewhere in this area. We're not terribly worried about the landing zone at this point of our training right now. That'll be coming up in a couple of different belt levels coming up. But anyhow, so we got the barrel dice done. Now we're gonna actually go to our regular dice. I'm not worried about the dice set right now. All we're gonna do is worry about getting into our grip, tossing it down the table. And again, now what I want you to focus on is make sure that the dice are square, they're tight together. And we're going to focus on making sure they're square at the release point and that we release with that thumb. And you're going to notice a big difference now in the throw if you really concentrate on keeping the dice tight together, but also releasing with that thumb. What's going to happen is they're going to, and you saw that, they flew more level in the air, they stuck closer together. They also had a nice spin to it, a nice backward spin to it. So, again, set up into your dice grip, get your angle, proper angle, and the angle that we're doing on the table is make sure you have it square up here, set it down, and when you set it down, you're going to have an angle on the dice. And again, for me, I know that it replicates this A that's in the pass line here, in the ask line here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to look at down the table. I'm going to find that gator bump that's straight down the line from where I'm at right now. And I'm going to be aiming right towards that. Throw down, release with the thumb, and they should roll right all the fingers. And you have about 10 or so of these tosses. And then we would switch it up. Let me go through a couple more here, guys. And then we're going to switch it up just slightly and give you something slightly different to focus on. And those are all flying nice and straight down the table, looking really good. In uniform, I would like to see them a little bit closer together, a little bit tighter together, but that's something that we can work on over time. Again, focusing on releasing or removing that thumb first from the dice. And you're going to notice a huge difference in how the dice fly through the air when we do that. One more time here, and we're going to set the dice then, and we're going to look for certain results. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to do our hardway sets. And this is why we did not practice the hardway set during our dice setting exercises a little bit ago. And the hardway set is our base set. So if you look back at some of my videos that I did on all the different dice sets, I always show the hardway set and how to get into whatever dice set it is based off of this, whether it's an implosion, explosion, turning in or out, flipping one or two, like a single pitch or double pitch, whatever. Each video will show you how to get into that dice set from this base set. But what we're doing now is we're going to throw it down. If you notice the hardway set, they have sixes on one side, opposite sides will have ones. And when we're throwing it down a table, we're going to try to get it down there so that we do not have any sixes or ones showing in the end result. If you do that, would mean that it would either implode or explode, which means it goes off of axis. Now, the one variable that we're not training for at this particular moment, but we will be later on, is how they roll off the back wall. Right now, we're just trying to get that spin in the air, and we're hoping that the 6 or 1 does not show on either dice. And this is a result of the hard way stats here. Let's see if we can bring it down to the end of the table here so you guys can see what it was. Oops, it was a 5-2. And what that tells me is that stayed on axis the dice, but one of them double pitched. So if you look at, that's where your 5-2 comes in. So that's a double pitch of one of the dice. So our ultimate goal for this belt level was that we stay on axis, and that it actually did. The double pitch is an unfortunate 7 or a common 7 with this hardway set. Again, landing zones we're not terribly worried about. That was a 6-4, so one of them did go off of axis. Again, we're not worried as much about the landing zone in the orange belt level here. That is something that we'll be concentrating on, not the next belt level, but the belt level after. Again, like I said, we have got, that one was actually not too bad. We had it with 5-4, both of them are on axis. We had a single pitch on one of the dice. We've got one more yellow ball on video on live stream that'll be up tomorrow, and then we're going to take the weekend off, so there'll be 3 days that you guys actually need to go through and do practice on your own and make sure you stay consistent with your training. 5-3, again, another on axis throw. The one dice did roll off the left side there. I believe that was because of where it hit the wall, the gator bump, but it still did stay on axis, so that's a good thing. And then next week when we start up, we're going to start up with the orange belt. Over the weekend here, I'm going to go through and actually, oh, that one was a really weird one. We have 6-4. This one right here died immediately, did not even roll forward. Corner of the dice must have caught the table. But I'm going to go through this weekend. I'm going to actually shoot the orange belt video so we can get an all-inclusive video together, just like I did with the white and yellow. And that'll be put out on one of my playlists, my dice training playlist. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to practice the orange belt on the live streams. And that's sort of what we've been doing here thus far with the training, the level up training. It was 6-3, so one of them did go off axis there. Again, that one might have gone off of axis because of how it hit the back wall. You look at that dice throw and the dice were level, they were spinning at the same revolutions. So dice are looking good if you concentrate on that another 6-4. Well, it was best friend on the end there. So if you look at the revolutions, you look at the release, you release with that thumb, and it's going to help dramatically with your throw. We have Craig here. Good morning, Craig. So anyhow, guys, if you're liking these videos that I'm doing here, one of the things that you guys can do is you can do a super chat, you can do a super sticker or a super thanks. That's a way that you can help reward me for these videos. I'm trying to improve the quality of these videos. I have ordered a new microphone system so it doesn't sound so tinny like it does right now. And that should begin here this weekend. All the proceeds that I'm making off of these videos are going to be going into equipment and or future projects that I'm going to be doing. I have 2 projects that I have in the mix, and it's going to take a considerable amount of money, and I think you guys are going to like here, the Big Joe 314 journey. A few projects in the mix that I think you guys are going to like, but it's going to take a little bit of money to get them underway. All the proceeds that I'm making off of these videos are actually going right back into the channel. None of it goes into my pocket. It goes back into the channel, either through equipment or videos that I'm actually producing. So just a thought, something to keep in mind, not a requirement. My main focus though is getting out to you guys and getting you guys practicing daily with me as we go through the dice training, the level up program. So I checked the chat one more time, and thank you, Craig. Yeah, the table, check my table build videos out. You can see the whole table that I actually made. And then you can also see the room that it's in. This room that I'm in is only, 12 by 14, 12 by 15, somewhere around there. So it's just barely big enough for the table to get in and fit. I did design the table so it will break apart, not without any kind of difficulty, though. It would be a little bit difficult to get the table out of this room. But check those videos out as well. But yeah, hey, my name is Joe, and this is my dice shooting journey. Let's make it